How you live is much more important than what you do for a living. On today's episode, we'll be finding out why. Hello everybody, your baby girl is here again and again. Yes, I am still bringing you words and news and updates from you. Can be president or anything absolutely else. If this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. We love you. Please, if you haven't subscribed, do so. Like us, like our content, share our content, and we'll be grateful you did. But if this is your regular place, thank you for always showing your love and your support. I love you, we love you, everybody here loves you. So chapter 6 is titled Habit Building. We have a quote here that says, success and failure are largely the result of habits, written by Napoleon Hill, one of our good guys. Yes, so I'll just jump right into it. A young boy from Georgia, a schoolboy, wrote a term paper or a school paper. His name was Jimmy Carter. Wrote a term paper titled Healthy Mental Habits. And it says, there are certain habits of thinking which have a good effect upon health. If you think in the right way, you will develop the following. 1. The habit of expecting to accomplish what you attempt. The habit of expecting to like other people and to have them like you. The habit of deciding quickly what you want to do and doing it. The habit of sticking to it. The habit of welcoming fearlessly all wholesome ideas and experiences. Number 6, that was number 5. That was a rush reading, but I'm going to put it on the screen so you can see. Number 6 says, a person who wants to build good mental habits should avoid the idle daydream, should give up worry and anger, hatred and envy, should neither fear nor be ashamed of anything that is honest or purposeful. This is what habit building is about. I remember I always refer to, I remember when I was going to start waking up every day by 3 o'clock. I wake up plus or minus 3 a.m. every day. It's not easy, but yeah, it's worth it. I know I've shared it here once before and I'm going to share it again. I wanted to practice the early to bed, early to rise thing because I've heard a lot of people who are successful talk about it, and I was like, okay, let me see if I can do this, and let me see, these people have been, talking about the benefits of waking up early, and tending to yourself, meditating, praying for those who are spiritual, reading, working on your own self and your dream, even while you are a 9-to-5er, and, they turned out to be great. So I wanted to know how well I could do if I, practice these things that successful people practice. Sincerely, my life has changed. Wasn't really easy, but I started. What I did was I started sleeping before 9 o'clock, before 9 every day. Don't worry, I'm already off. Except maybe I'm home, I didn't go to work, and I had like a proper siesta. Other than that, I sleep pretty much before 9 o'clock. And I find myself waking up early. It was a struggle in the beginning, but eventually, now I most times don't even need an alarm. I'm up early. So that's one of the habits I have built. One of the habits I have built that has worked. So habit building is not particularly easy in the beginning, but by the time you start, your body adjusts to your new habit, and you see that it was not really difficult. You get, so start today to cultivate any habit at all. It is good or bad. The choice is actually yours. So start today to cultivate habits that you want to have. The habits of reading, the habit of waking up early, the habit of praying for spiritual people, the habit of whatever it is that you want to start doing that you think will make your life better if you start. So now is the time, not tomorrow. So this boy, Jimmy Carter, would later become the 39th president of the United States. You see, he started early to form habits, and it kept him focused. And he was actually, you wouldn't say somebody who became the president of a country did not do well in life. He tried. Yes, of course. So don't be surprised where you end in life, because where you will end up is dependent on the habits that you form today. So if you end up a drunkard, please, hallelujah, you started today, or tomorrow you would start. If you end up a very celebrated person, you started today, or eventually you would start after watching this video. So yes, don't be surprised when your life ends the way it ends. I'd like to read something from the book here. It says, what is true of physical habit building is also true of mental exercise. A person can learn actions of the mind that will automatically help him in his life. These actions build habits. And the author gave us a few steps to building habits. He said, habits begin as thoughts. Number 2, he says, practice good habits. Number 3, do things promptly. Don't defer. It says, don't defer or put them off. Don't procrastinate. Do things now. And lastly, it says, repeat every habit every day. Yes, repeat every habit every day. I wrote down a few things here. I said, bad habits are easier to form, and breaking them is twice as hard. A habit once formed will continue to work for or against you. So please decide that you want to be serious about forming good habits in your life. Trust me, you will be the first beneficiary. Let's go to chapter 7. You know, horses, yeah, or any other animal, once they have been trained to act a certain way, say you chain them to a particular tree or a particular pole and they cannot move for a certain period of their lives, their minds are conditioned to believe that they cannot break free from that stronghold. So their mind was first, conditioned to believe that their situation is true, that they can never be free. So if you think you can do something, you can. But if you think that you cannot do it, trust me, you are absolutely correct. It depends on what you believe or what you have been made to believe. So animals who are conditioned that way, they eventually don't even try to break free from those shackles. They just stay there because they feel, you know what, this is my life, I better accept it. But if you would dare to try to break free from whatever it is that is keeping you down, then it's absolutely true that you can make it. As I'm talking to you, I'm also talking to myself, because we have our peculiar experiences and life stories, and we have our peculiar challenges as well. So don't think that anybody who comes on the screen to motivate you has everything all sorted out. Each and every one of us are trying to make headway of this thing called life. So we have challenges, we face them. Even when we get discouraged, we look for people who we believe are in the moment, who have their shit together, who have things, everything together. We look for them to, give us some sort of encouragement. So you are doing all right, but don't believe that where you are is the best that you can be. If you think you can hit higher targets, if you think you can do better, you surely and definitely can. But you just need to try it. We have repeatedly said it here on this channel that your thoughts create your reality. Now, the author gives us 2 tools that can help us, that can pull us out of limiting factors. 1, it says believe in yourself. And 2, affirmation. I have on my wall, I have affirmations I decree to myself every time. So we should first of all believe in ourselves, and then have affirmations that we can decree to ourselves, that we can say to ourselves. These things really help. It boosts our morale. It helps to motivate us. It helps for us to push away every negative energy that's coming from our environment, because what is inside, that what is burning inside of us, it is of more importance than whatever is happening around us, because what is inside of us is what makes us. and we will in turn affect our environment. But if we don't have enough going on inside of us, our environments will now have the permission that we granted, to influence us. So we ought to believe in ourselves, and we ought to daily declare positive things to ourselves. That is how you can be pulled out of every limitation. So there was this young man, his name was Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash was a young man who did a short service in the army, but wanted to do music, had a guitar, self-taught, knew how to sing, and had a beautiful voice. And when he came back from his short service in the army, he, became a renowned artist. People loved him. He became successful, having multiple concerts, selling out so many records, and all of that. So he was so successful, but he gave into doing drugs. Then he started misbehaving in public. He lost, his value before people because, of course, you are not a role model. You're not a good example. You can be successful when your audience get to find out that, you take drugs. That is not such a reputable thing to do. That's not a nice, testimony you want people to have of you. So that was how he fell from grace. And then he ran out of money because he was no longer holding concerts. Nobody was interested anymore. So he was arrested for trying to break into a store. He was actually making appearances at jail cells because that was where his life had gotten to. So on one occasion when he was being released from jail in Georgia, the sheriff said to him, "Johnny Cash, I'm going to give back your money and your dope because you know better than most people that God gave you a free will to do with yourself whatever you want. Here are your money and your pills. Now, you can throw away the pills or you can take them and go ahead and kill yourself. Decide which you want to do." When you become a public figure, how you live matters much more than what you do. Your private life is no longer private. That's why we have all this celebrity paparazzi news. So how he lived eventually affected what he did for a living. How you live is much more important than what you do, because people will say, "Oh, this is who you are in your private life, so but you're showing us somebody entirely different." So nobody's going to support you. Nobody's going to want to be like you. Nobody in their right senses want to be like a bad person. Nobody. Anybody who says, "Oh, I want to be a thief," that person is not in their right senses, because of course everybody knows that stealing is wrong. So, but after this, speech from the sheriff, Johnny Cash had a rethink on life. Went into therapy. It was so difficult, but he did it again the second time. Came out of drugs, was sober, went back to music and became a star again. So he did it twice in his lifetime. You can do it 10,000 times and more if you want to. So chapter 8 is titled Imagining Success. It says, imagination is more important than knowledge. If you studied Think and Grow Rich with us, written by Napoleon Hill, you will believe that this is so true. You really cannot go where you have not imagined. You really cannot become something you have not yet imagined. So if you want to be whatever it is you want to be, you would have imagined what you will look like when you become it. So you would already know how to act, things to do, and all of that, so that because you know that your actions and the way you live would eventually get you there or not. Yes, we talked about all of this in Think and Grow Rich. You can go back to the video if you've not seen it and watch all of the reviews chapter by chapter. Trust me, there's so much there for you to learn. It says, you can build your desire for success only by first imagining it. You can set a goal of successes for yourself only by first imagining it. This may seem silly to you and it may seem pointless, but it is true. You have the power to create what you can imagine. First think it, and that is only when you can begin to achieve it. Because when you think it, be like, okay, I want to build a castle. You've thought it in your head. You have a picture of the castle you want to build. So your head will start, gathering suggestions of the materials and the items that you need to make this building of the castle possible. You understand? So it is first in your head. Your head starts making a path for you to walk on your way to achieving what you want to achieve. So it first begins with the mind and then in reality. But hey, there's something we all need to know about success. It doesn't come cheap. So in spite of all your colorful imagination of what your future should be and would be, it's not void of serious challenges. Nothing good comes easy. Nothing good comes easy. So you have one task: not to give up. Keep pushing, keep pushing. If it is possible here, it is possible in reality. You just need to see and believe it. So I would like to wrap up this chapter by reading something from the book that the author wrote. Everything that ever was or will be was once somebody's dream. What's your dream? What will be that will come from you? What's the future that people can, or what's going to be written in history that people will credit to your name? What's that thing? It is in your dream. Birth those things you are thinking. You can be president. Yes. So thank you for your time today. We've done 3 chapters, chapter 6, 7, and 8. I hope you learned so much. This book is not about to finish anytime soon. We have up to how many chapters? But don't worry, we'll see how we can, do all the chapters, but we'll pick up all the important things in it. The book is small, but then it's mighty, and I wouldn't want us to miss out on anything. So next video, we will continue from chapter 9 and see where it leads us. We must do everything. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much for stopping by. Love ya. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so. Bye again.